Well, all right, everyone. Hello and welcome. Hope everyone is doing well. Good afternoon, good early, late morning, I suppose, wherever you find it, wherever you find yourself today. I hope the sun is shining wherever you are and you're having a great day. We're excited to get started here. Welcome again to everyone to our webinar here on Envase Business Intelligence. My name is Kevin McCahill, a Director of Customer Success here at Envase, soon joined by my colleague Lee Morwood, who's going to test drive us, show us around this awesome technology. So we'll welcome Lee in just a minute. But of course, first of all, we want to welcome you. We are very glad that all of you took the time to be here to learn about some fantastic technology that can be a huge benefit to you and your business. So in our time together, what will we discuss? We'll give you a little background on who we are as Envase, what we're doing here, and what services we can provide and offer to you to help bring your business to the next level. And one of those being Envase BI, Envase Business Intelligence. What is it? How does it work? And how can it make you more efficient in your work? And then, of course, we'll see the test drive. Lee is going to show us around, show us some examples of exactly how this technology works and how it can be a benefit to you. And then, of course, so important, answering your questions. So as you watch this webinar, as you watch us show you this technology, please use this nice questions tab here within GoToWebinar, the program that we're using. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. Use that questions section. Type them in as you're watching this. We want to answer the questions you have. This is an opportunity to be with some professionals here who know their stuff, and you can ask those questions. Make sure you get them answered so you really understand how beneficial this can be to your business specifically. So we look forward to hearing this presentation and hearing your questions, your comments about it, making sure you have all the information that you need. Now, with that in mind, we thought we might start with a poll. I'm going to toss this poll out here. Launching. What kind of business intelligence do you use now? Curious? Go ahead if you see this up there. Are you using a different analytics tool right now, perhaps something else you have online? Are you the business intelligence? Is it your gut feeling for what you know, the years you've spent in the industry, what you're seeing happening around you? That tells you everything you need to know. Or are you here wondering, what in the world does business intelligence mean? What is this? I want to know. I've heard about it. I've heard it's fantastic. It's beneficial to it can be beneficial to me and my business. So tell me about it. Teach me something. All of these are great answers. There's not a wrong answer. Just curious to know where we're all starting out here. So go ahead, folks, as you're filling that out, we'll turn to this next tab. So briefly, as you think about that poll, in our time here, tell you a little bit about who we at Envase are. And that is hundreds of years of collective experience in intermodal drayage and all our in different forms of transportation and transportation management. So we have the largest, as you can see right there, innovative TMS provider, giving you fantastic solutions, effective and efficient solutions all across the board for whatever your needs might be, including automated order entry, optimizations, tracking, EDI, and so much more. There's a little something for everyone that we can offer to help bring your business up to the next level and to offer that support and to make you more efficient and to use the data that you have to your benefit to help you continue to improve. So by the way, we'll close our poll here. So let's share the results just in case you all wanted to know. There it is. All right, so we got a lot of gut people here. I like that. We're feeling that we kind of know a lot about it, but yet we're here because we realize we can learn even more. We can use technology, analytics to our advantage to improve other tools. And hey, some of us are just here to learn as well and could see maybe how this tool, Envase BI, could be exactly what you need. So what is it exactly? Well, again, here's a good question. So Envase BI, Envase Business Intelligence, is an analytics tool to help us better understand the data we're looking at. So we are used to seeing sheets of numbers, but how do we analyze it? How can we use it to our benefit? How can we visualize that data in a way that makes sense to us so we can make quick decisions that can make our company more efficient and grow? This technology has many preset reports, but with the ability for customization to add a whole lot more. And of course, helps you find insights, helps you when you can visualize data, not just as a giant spreadsheet, but in graphs, charts, many different ways. You're going to see some amazing things. And it's going to tell you a lot about your business and ways to improve, ways to adjust, ways to adapt. And that is the huge benefit. It's also very easily accessible. It fits with the technology you have currently. and can really help your business grow. So that is what Envase BI is. We want to share this business intelligence with you, and that's why we're glad that you all took the time to be here today. So enough of me talking about it. I think it's time to see it. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite my colleague here, Lee Morwood's going to join us. So let's give him screen control. Lee, how you doing today? Lee, hold on, give me a sec. There we go. Lee, are you muted? Can you unmute yourself there? There we go. Lee, how you doing?
Living the dreams. Good to be here.
Awesome. So if you want to take screen control from me.
All right, you see our Envase BI login page?
It's perfect. Yep, I see it. Please take it away.
All right, great. Thanks for the opportunity, everybody. It's good to be here with you. I'm Lee Morwood, been around for 15 and a half years. If you all don't know me, you're lucky. No, I'm just kidding. I think a lot of you do, but been running CompCare for 14 and a half years, been playing a real active role in translating the VIntermodal data to the Tableau team, who we've had for quite a few years on our sister company, the Profit Tools side. So, we've got a couple of customers live on this, and I've worked through quite a bit of it, but real excited to get more feedback from you, the customer, as we meet your needs for these reportings. And we all have reports from Crystal Reports. This takes it to a whole nother level, and we'll just kind of take a look at it. So if you sign up with our Envase BI, you're going to be given login credentials, your email and your password. And when you come in, we are going to have a landing page that's going to be our default view. It's going to pull up some recent reports we've looked at, recommendations. We can go into favorites, but I'm going to try to get us to a second view here to compartmentalize. You know me with dispatch boards and reports, we like to really compartmentalize as much as we can. So by default, let's see, we'll have standard dashboards, which I can provide a list for you all later of a quick description of our 32 plus standard reports that could grow. We're not locked into 32 standard reports, but that's the starting case right now. We have default reports, and then we can build, like here's a 3PL standard for my login. If we have customized reports, we can add those to a different folder. So 4 basic folders: data sources, so the data is open. If you get an Explorer license or have somebody who you want to be able to access this, where some of that data can be pulled down on your side, or reports can be built by your team instead of by ours, we're all for that. We just want to get the data pushed up there for you all. The more people who know how to use Tableau and can build what they want, the merrier. I tried it. It just was too time consuming for me. So there's a lot of opportunity here. It's a great learning opportunity. So I'm just going to dive straight into our standard reports. Within our standards, we have subfolders. So if I go into my billing summary folder, I can see that there's going to be a handful of different reports. Well, not on this one, but let's just get into a report and take a look. Data refreshes. We send the data up every single night, so it's going to refresh every night. It's not real time. If we need to do certain things that are real time, we don't want to drag on performance. So this is things that are everything that was yesterday or before. This is sample data, so it may look a little funky at times. But here we can use filters or invoice dates. Companies can be our terminals or a list of all of our customers. We can filter by terminals. So we'll see a lot of these filters on all of our reports, and how these dynamic dashboards can list details, summaries, graph charts, and then we can drill into each particular one as we see fit. So we can add filters if we need to. I'm going to go back to our standard reports, and I really want to start where I think most people are most interested, is a search. for revenue. We have quite a few revenue reports. When I'm in a particular, like revenue, we compartmentalize quite a few reports. So I can pull up one report and then across the top have tabs for additional reports that are in that same kind of domain, if you will. So if we look at revenue by cost, we have an invoice date, and we can look by payer name. And so we're listing each one of those customers, how much revenue, how much cost, what's our margin. And now, those of you who are rolling by your gut, you can really check out your gut with valid numbers behind the scenes. We can then drill into a particular customer and see the charts on the bottom. Where is this data coming from? Getting into specific control numbers. So here's just a similar view, but being done by terminal instead. Drilling into particular terminals. Some of this I haven't touched on every screen to know what each one's about, but we can show you what terminal it is, so you can filter by terminal, by invoice date. And then with your views, if you want to set this to a particular range or terminal, we can set under the custom view, terminal 2, make it your default, share it with others, and save it so that it saves those filters. Unlike Crystal Reports, every time you run it, you have to put your filters in there. I don't want to have to do that every single time. So when I come into here, Tableau is smart enough to save your specific preferred filters. You can look at revenue versus cost by container type. Looking at 20s, 40s. Shredder, once this comes up. So looking at different container sizes and types. Combinations of them at the bottom. What's the highest revenue for those size and types? Code. Anytime we see code, that typically means our commodity codes. So if we take a look at this one, we can drill into what's our revenue per commodity code and per terminal. So I can, select just a few of these. Let me just see chassis rental, detention, and drayage. And then it's broken down by terminal so that we know what our commodity code revenues are. We could pass those criteria that we have in VI of what should be ignored in the revenue calculations from the commodity code setups if we need to help see these pictures of what's a direct wash of what you're going to pay versus what you're going to bill. So going back to our dashboards, there's revenue, there's cost, there's profitability under all the revenue situations. Let's jump into equipment for chassis. We're getting more and more of these requests. That's limited on the Crystal Report side. Is chassis usage. If I own chassis or I own equipment, I want to make sure it's being used every day. How do I do that? Particularly if I outgate it on a Monday and I ingate it on a Wednesday, how do I know if it was used on Tuesday? Well, we're going to use these kind of reports to help us know what days of the week these chassis are being used. We're looking at specific dispatch statuses for when your chassis are on an actual shipment. So we can look out for, why are these two top chassis, why are they're inactive, so they're not going to have any data. So we can find chassis that aren't being used or that aren't being used as much as we'd like them to be used for whatever reason. If you hover over them, you get a little bit of order detail. And then activity versus invoice date. So I want to see when was the last time I used a chassis versus when did I invoice it. So this order here, I dropped it on 10/09, but didn't invoice it for a couple months later. So it allows us to really see that we're getting the cash flow on these chassis issues. And this will be just your chassis. It's not everything. It's just your chassis that are set up in the equipment. A lot of options with chassis. Customer details. So where are our customer located? We can pass details in here, and we'll get more into this a little bit later, but sometimes, you know, with two Tableau login accounts is less than one BI account. So if you have people in your offices who need a lot of this data that's coming out of BI, it can be a good swap to just turn in the BI license and get 2 Tableau licenses instead for getting information about customers for mailing lists. What's your, you know, this because our data is not always updated. This basic versus default is to compare your fuel surcharge from customer to customer over loads and over time. So let's grab some driver information. So similar to chassis usage, we want to make sure that drivers are driving frequently, not for other customers as well. This is a basic driver count where we can build a gauge to say what's our targeted number of drivers versus how many are actually driving. Let's see when this comes up. So we just key in a driver goal and see how many are actually driving, break it down by pay group, terminal class, haul class, active, non-active, see what our drivers are actually doing. Let's get to more better specifics about drivers. There's better ones in here. That's the wrong one. So similar to the chassis, driver attendance. We want to see that drivers are driving all 5 days of the week or 6 days of the week, however many we can. Who's not? Why aren't they? Can we follow up with them? Do we need to incentivize them for some reason? So we track, you know, the activities, dispatch statuses, you know, that would pertain to them. You know, typically pay statuses that would pertain to a driver, and we want to see those every single day. On the driver situation, we have settlements dashboard. So of course we want to see what we're paying drivers. It's independent of cost versus revenue. For profitability is in the revenue folders. And so here we can drill into particular pay groups and settle dates and domicile terminals to run, you know, just, you know, what's our pay for this week's settlement versus past settlements. We could graph this for year over year, week over week comparisons, and then drill into the specific. So again, possibly good details for safety to have who's using a safety module instead of VI, that, you know, we have integration with the safety program that comes into VI. So now we don't have to have a user in here for safety to run these numbers. They can use Tableau instead. Drilling into customers and their activity. So who are my top 10 customers? This will come into play a little bit later when we look at customer activity and user activity as well. But, you know, here's our biggest customer. Are we on EDI with them? Are we on order AI with them? Can they send us orders via import, export, via spreadsheets? I can create the orders via import, export. How can I expedite the service for these customers that are sending me the most loads? Drill into particular states or how recent these customers have been billed, and then get into, you know, first revenue, most recent orders, all-time counts, etc. Typical customer review data. Equipment dashboard for tracking your own equipment. I mean, that's all expirations and when things were used, just like your chassis. I like this image modifications because it kind of sheds some light on where there could be efficiencies within VI. So we have the type of images coming down and the mods by user. What I see, this is whitewashed data that's, it's just something we have to use in a sandbox, is this null driver. This here null should be something like tracing, because tracing is doing web scrapes of in-gates or outgates. But now we can isolate this VI user. Why are they archiving so many things? It's because they key in the most orders. Are they archiving PODs from drivers who are sending it to them instead of using the tablets? How can we reduce down the number of images that are being archived by users so they can be spending time on other things? Because images should be, they originate electronically from the most part, either via an email or pictures from a driver. Are we using Outlook add-in to archive those images, or is somebody physically printing them and scanning them? Are there inefficiencies that could be drilled into based on knowing how many images are being scanned per user? And so for those of you on tablets, this would say, your driver tablets, so that we can see that, you're spending X amount a month per driver for the tablets. Well, look how many images are actually coming in directly from those tablets and how many dispatches are going to them that we don't have to do ourselves to help justify the cost of the tablets. And again, find the inefficiencies, because we see the users who are creating more of the activities and more of the images being archived. We'll show an image one here in a second. So let's jump into the activity while we're on that topic. If I want to look at recent user dispatch activity, what we see, if this data is not whitewashed over, is this top one should be from the tablets. It's activities that are created from the tablets. Even though it's a user who saves it, we'll credit that activity as being something that came from the driver. He outgated, he arrived at the customer, he departed the customer, etc. The next set of activities should be from tracing. When does our API or screen scrape tracing update things to ready to dispatch or available? Those should be the top two activity creators at each customer. If they're not, there's automations we can drill into. Are users doing things that they shouldn't be doing? At our conference, we'll be talking more about a partner of ours called Ken Logistics, who can do a lot of after-hours tracing and data update for us. They should have a lot of dispatch activities on here as well. So again, an idea to help us drill into where there could be inefficiencies because users are doing too many data saves in BI versus the automations that we have for dispatch and imaging. And we have that same thing along order creation. So we see in this example that EDI is creating 6% of our orders. And then we could drill into this particular user up here to find out who are their customers that they service. Can we do EDI with them? Can we do order import with them? How can we expedite getting these orders into the system besides this user having to key them in, free up time for that user to do more customer service oriented tasks. And then for billing, it's hard to kind of automate some of the billing situation, but if you have a couple of billing clerks who have equal tasks in terms of approving and getting invoices out the door, we want to know, what's the comparison in those two users in terms of who's billing how many orders, who's carrying the workload for that billing department. Do we need to train the person with less approvals to do better, or are they handling harder accounts? How can we automate to expedite the billing situation for that lesser performing user? All those things that the data starts to tell the story, and then we need to drill into the details of how can we be more efficient on BI with this data that we have. Drivers not driving. Similar to that chassis report where it shows us what days they're not out there, we can see drivers who have not driven the last X number of days. I see this all the time where A lot of our active driver reports aren't accurate because people aren't expiring drivers in BI. We don't really want a tool like this to tell us that, but this can help us to know that, okay, this guy hasn't driven since 2013. Why is he still active in the system? So turn off to keep our data good to go so that we have less options for dispatch to dispatch inactive drivers. We can drill into 2022 of, why are these guys active and haven't been dispatched in 2 or 3 weeks? And then give those guys a call, find out what's going on. Let's get back into take a look at so revenue by office and by date, pulling invoice date of each terminal. What's my revenue? What's my cost? What's my margin? And then we can drill into particular orders to make sure we're profitable on each one. What is my year over year or my day of invoice date compared? It's going to drill into the 17th here. I'm not sure what it does when I drill into it like that, but allowing us to separate terminals, the different revenue per terminal. And I thought there'd be, oh, here we go. So by customer and then by office, by revenue, by office and code. So a lot of ways to filter into our revenue and looking at our profitability and our margins. Drilling into particular customers, who's my highest performing revenue customer. And if I drill into it, let's keep only them. And breaks it down by terminal. Doesn't quite get into each individual load, but I'm sure that one of these gets us into the individual load. And then again, if we want to look at codes, we can drill into drayage, fuel, chassis rental, etc. I'm not going to go over every single report. About 30 minutes in, wanted to give an opportunity to, let's just see if there's, yeah, shipment volume. Here we go. Let's do this one. All right, so we don't have anything in the last couple of days, so this top grid's a little bit low, but we're comparing here our exports to our imports, and this customer sample data does a lot of truckload. So we want to try to equalize outbounds versus inbounds. Of course, can we drill into particular customers and see what our ratio is? Any one of these Tableau reports, there's a tooltip up here that helps describe what the data is. So we can get into the details. We can get into the data through some other screens if you want to dive into how the data is actually taken by learning Tableau, but that's beyond what I've been able to do so far, so I'm not going to show that yet. But that in a nutshell, without going into each individual report, but showing the flexibility of the filters, the drivers, the shipments, the profitability, the VI usage. There's just some things we wanted to touch on. So we got quite a bit of time here. I'm just going to open up the field of questions. So Kevin, you got anything rolling in there?
Yeah, thank you, Lee, very much for walking us through that. It is useful stuff, the analytics of it, seeing it. I like the part actually about the chassis and seeing just like that, you can see which has been in use, which hasn't been in use for a period of time. Really valuable stuff. Yeah, questions, if you have, please type them in the question section there. There's a chat function too, if you want to chat with us, also great. Questions we have. Lee, maybe you could tell us a little bit about some of the reports So we have that basic set, but we have the ability to expand beyond basic reporting too, right?
Sure, we'll do customized reporting. We'll need to spec it out and see what it's going to take. We provide a quote on it, and yeah, customizations. Some of the customizations we do is we haven't gone over the brokerage side of things in here, but if you have a department in your company that does brokerage and you want to start to see, the revenue that each brokerage rep is bringing in per day, we can do that. We also, if you're doing brokerage and your truckers are able to do EDI or do our 3PL portal, we can report on timeliness in terms of you tendering the load and it being accepted by your trucker reporting their arrivals and departures. It's really the sky's the limit in terms of that. And that's why I say that our standard reports are at 32, but I mean, you guys kind of know how we've been at CompCare. Like, we get an idea from one of you when we think it's great, we want to roll to everybody. And so some of those ideas could turn into standard reports, but our number one support item at CompCare is reports, which means they're extremely customizable. Everybody has totally different viewpoints. And so, 32 is a lot of default reports. We're not going to put 150 in there, but we could take some of those crystal reports that you all are depending on and that take time to export to Excel and manipulate and put them into a more dynamic crystal report, more dynamic Tableau report. And then all the data from here, all these reports are able to be downloadable as well. So you don't lose that functionality.
Nice, thank you for that. Yeah, and I thought those really good points you made there at the end. So we saw, as you're showing us around here, and it's a bit laggy because part of that is we're screen sharing and all that kind of stuff. But in general, using Envase BI, it's quick, it's pretty zippy, and it will also save you time in comparison to some other chart and reporting programs switching between files. Is that right, Lee?
Yeah, I got bad internet out here in the sticks, man. So I moved out in the sticks, it's not as good. We've rolled this out to a handful of customers who just have excellent raves about it. There are customers who are taking some of these dashboards and throwing them up on a monitor in the dispatch office or in the brokerage office. They're in the billing approval place. They help to just incentivize, highlight, congratulate, just add that extra level of visibility. Jim's always taken that KPI approach of the airport module where you put monitors up on the walls, and these are great things that can go up on the walls. I'd have to figure out more about, I saw a thread on this recently. I don't know where it came about, or where it ended, but if we put it up on a monitor, is it going to time itself out and turn off and somebody has to check out on it? I mean, these are some of the things we're working out as we're 2 or 3 months into the Tableau situation, but really cool to put these up on monitors, or when you come in, your entryway into an office could have some sort of report displayed that just shows, your customers when they come in, your volume, your number of drivers, your timeliness, things like that, that as soon as you walk in, you have a real dynamic report to show what your business does. It's just, the sky's the limit. And you guys all know me, I'm not super creative. I'm just reporting what I've heard out there, and we depend on you all to really help to be creative as well.
Excellent. Another question coming in here. Can these reports be automated to run every night and email results in the morning?
I mean, they're automated. The data's updated every night. I think you can build, I don't know for sure, but I would think that you can build. Yeah, here we go. This is our guy, Anthony. Yes, email can be set up for users. Anthony and Bosma are 2 Tableau experts who set up all the reports. So yeah, it can be done. How about
Excellent.
that?
Yeah, we like that answer. The answer is yes, Catherine. It absolutely can be done. Wonderful. Any other questions coming in here, folks? One last minute. Appreciate all these comments. All right, excellent. Well, the man himself, Lee Morwood. Lee, thank you very much for taking the time to be here and show us around. Appreciate that very much. And to our attendees, I want to launch, before you all leave, launch one more poll, throw this up here. How you feeling? Are you ready to go? Lee has showed us some awesome stuff. Now we turn it to you. Are you ready? Do you want to give it a try? We'd be happy to help you out. I want to just, if I can actually go back to, I'm going to take screen control back here. I want to just put up a page for you all to take a look at as soon as I can get that back up, and allow you all to see our. Let me change presenter here, so you have the opportunity to see our email address, because that is very important. I'm going to take this poll down. Hopefully the answer is yes. Many people are very, very excited about it, and that's good. Great to see that. And then if I can just share our email again, we appreciate all of you. There we go. All the way to the end. We want to thank you all very much for being here. And if you have any questions at all, please do type them to. Please do look us up here. There it is. Our email address, the website, of course, and a phone number that you can call as well. So Lee gave us a great job showing us things, showing us around. And this tool is available, and we want to share it with you to improve your business. So we thank you very much for being here today, taking the time. We did record this session as well, so if you wanted to watch the playback, please let us know. Please reach out, and we would be happy to do that. And please reach out too if you have any other questions as well, so we can get this up and running for you and make your business even more efficient. So again, thank you. Thank you to all our attendees being here today, and we hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks again, and take care.